said the Fed ahead of this. Investor sentiment was shit, but they only just seen a blip. They thought it'd be reliever quick. You smart, you buy with fear resist.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming into August 30th, 2019. We're coming close to the last trading day. We got Labor Day. Monday is going to be closed, but the stock market is going to move tomorrow. Please read all disclaimers. Option trading is extremely risky. You can lose all the time, most of your money. Please consult with a financial advisor before investing. Option trading is extremely risky. Most option trades goes to zero. I have to give you the disclaimer. If and only if we repeat exactly what we've seen throughout all of August. So every single Friday, except for, I believe, the second week, we've had some sort of news-filled or fueled tweet. And even then, I have the 14-day chart up here. This last Friday, we hit a really big low after one of the worst, even historical trading days. Then we gapped up after the trade tensions from China weren't that bad. We came in there, even gapped up on the weekend. That surprised a lot of people. Didn't do much the whole week, all for the Trump tweeter tantrum. And that leaves us to where we're at tomorrow. So there is, I don't want to say a good chance of moving, but it's pretty clear that that might be it, or it's pretty much 50-50. Again, it did it 2 weeks in a row. 1 week it missed it, but we will see. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot on the table. We even got news today that should have even brought the market down. This is what kind of caused this, but the market really ignored it, that they were going to open up a new DOJ investigation into Huawei. But the opening market news today was that that China did call back to Trump, and that they actually gave concessions. So that was somewhat positive, but again, it kind of is reminiscent of that last week. But we're going to see. I'm going to talk about what to expect tomorrow, how we're going to play it, the strategy. We got the keys. I want to go over some of the plays we made today, and then what we're looking for tomorrow. It's pony hunting, frog hunting day, boys. Better control that YOLO demon. So let's get right into it. You guys know what to do. Drop your like on the video. Make sure you are subscribed here on this channel. We post these nightly watch lists every night. There is going to be a trading day the next day, and we are live Monday through Friday 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it's pinned in the comments, which leads to the main thing you need to do, the most important thing. Post your watch list below. Tell us what stocks you're watching. We want to source that information. We're going to go over those in the morning pre-market while we're streaming. So I look forward to reading what you guys post below, and hopefully you guys will give you some ideas, and I could give you some ideas, and we could go, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. Okay, let's get straight to it. So as far as the keys for tomorrow. So like we already said, the last 2 Fridays had some sort of hyper panic. So watch for that, because some have developed both early in the morning, coming into the mornings, and that's what we've been seeing out of China. And last week surprised us because China decided to escalate, which was very unexpected for them to do so on a Friday. They're usually quiet. So watch for pretty much that first 2 hours, again, first pre-market, and then the first 2 hours of market, or even coming into that last 2 hours of market, or even last 3 hours. So it might, even then, if anything happens in the middle of the market, that's totally possible. It's clear the market is just doing the total unexpected stuff. So make sure you're on the stream, or you got your Stream Alert stream insurance. Yeah, it's better to have it not need it than need to not have it. But again, like we said, 2 weeks ago, the first time it went up, China softened their trade rhetoric, if you guys remember that, and that was after that awful day where Trump randomly came out of nowhere again saying he was going to raise the tariffs. And then last week was Jackson Hole. Right after the opening statements, Trump didn't like it and just went to Twitter. Honestly, in one of the most craziest newses ever, I think, the way he escalated it with China. So it's kind of crazy to think that we've bounced back from that and really erased all those gains. But again, that's where I'm saying we need to either break out this range, or we're going to come down. And if we are going to break out of that range, we're going to need some gas, you know? So that's the next key to understand here. If there is no news, it's going to keep us here. If there's nothing really sufficient enough to drive us past this range, you have to realize there's been a week after week after week. We've been stuck in this whole range. And, you know, again, that could even be the reasoning why that maybe it's time to go up. If there is, you know, no news could be good news. However, I'm leaning more towards the line of it's probably going to stay here. The market doesn't want to price anything higher than here until we could really see what's going to happen. But again, you take a look, this is almost creating on a bigger scale what we saw from May till June, which was, again, all trade related. And as the trade talks seemed like they were breaking down, the market started coming down, but then China saved it. And again, this is almost the inverse of the Chinese yuan. So still watch those currencies, because now today, some of you gold bugs saw some different things play out. But again, the currency strengthened. So the statements we saw out of China and the China concessions seemed pretty real. However, the yuan didn't weaken, or excuse me, the yuan didn't strengthen as much as you would have thought. So it's still at a high point. So watch that. Watch the yen for a break of 105 still, but it seems like the key moves with today had to do with the dollar. So watch that, and even bonds too, but be on the lookout for how we move tomorrow. Again, if there's no news, it's going to probably keep us there. If anything, it's going to take hype news to take us above and above and out of that range of that 292 to 294. I think 294 is where we get capped at, or it's going to take another crazy bad news tweet, escalation, or maybe even something from left field we haven't seen yet to take us below it. If not, be fully prepared for a cuck. That's why I did sell a credit spread today, so we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But that's pretty much, again, nothing has really changed back and forth with this. We are still in this same ring around the rosy limbo with Trump back and forth with China. And again, if nothing does come out tomorrow, I think it is in China's best interest to try to say something positive before the first tariffs come into play in September 1st, or we might hear something over the weekend. But if not, we've seen it before. Usually the market does go down coming into the tariffs, and the minute they get implemented, the market's kind of already digested it for the most part and priced that in. So we'll watch what happens even coming into this week. But now, as far as the trading strategy for tomorrow, I want you guys to understand, how fast are you going? DPH. Not MPH, not miles per hour, but dollars per hour. If you're going to be YOLOing Fridays, keep this in mind. How much are you going to be spending? If you're trading in the morning, be careful, because morning trades really only work on a Friday. If you're trading a daily option, if it heads in the direction that you buy and then it really hits the point of no return and never comes back, and that is very, very rare. So if that doesn't happen, keep in mind how many dollars per hour you're spending. Think about this. Are you going to spend $100 on an option in the morning, or $50? Or what if you spent $10 every single hour, or $20 for 5 hours? Do the math on there, because you could even average down through it, because the key is every single contract tomorrow, if it doesn't expire in the money, that thing's going to hell. So it's going to lose premium, and that's the whole strategy of pushing it to the wall. So I want you guys to be cautious with that. Take it slow and see. And if you guys saw, this is what we've been saying, whether it's going to be a bounce or a drop, you could literally wait for the move to happen and you'll be able to make a good play. It's not really about anticipating the move as much as it is getting the confirmation. And you'll notice after the confirmation's there, the option trades aren't really crazy. That's how we profited really, really good last Friday, simply by waiting for that tweet to come out, and we responded to it, and we made more money on that rather than already being positioned in put play. So keep that in mind, but let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, there's Amazon, and they outpaced today, and they eventually kind of came down, and I think they actually ended up underperforming the market. No, just a little bit, but they were up a lot this morning. But I was looking for calls on this, so I'm going to look at those tomorrow morning and see. We were looking at like the 1835 calls when it was up near 1800, but watch if there is bullishness or there is any positive news. I'm going to look for them, because the options on Amazon were not pricing a lot, but we didn't play that. The two plays that we did make today, we did play Dollar General. They had earnings, and I actually really like this play. We got till a next week 160. So here it is. And we got it for about 50 cents, and it was really all over the place. I think it closed here at 95 cents, even though it's saying 65 cents on the bid, but it kind of reflected the stock pretty well. I actually really like this play, because again, Dollar General is pretty much at all-time highs. They had good earnings, but I said watch out for them to do a 10% type move. But there's even been a lot of positive news with their earnings and people really flocking to Dollar Tree and Dollar General. This is a big move for them. This is a big move for this type of stock. You could even see volume-wise, it's not the biggest in 10 years, but the thing you have to notice, the price is pretty much triple. So you could see at this point, 2013, your biggest volume is 66 million. Today was 6.87 million. You times that by 3, because 3 times the price is about 21 million. So decent volume. We want to see if this continues, but a lot of people like to flock to this, especially when the market isn't going to look too good. So I'm going to keep my eye out for it. I like to play at 50 bucks, but I want to watch to see how it develops, to see if this turns in to one of those Rokus or Shopify's that kind of has its earnings, does good, and this kind of becomes one of those favorite stocks that people like to flock to. So there was that, and then we did the Home Depot credit spread. So this one I liked, and I'm going to look tomorrow, depending on how it is. I might do this again on McDonald's, because they were pretty good, but this one was kind of risky. And one, I can't believe we missed it in the morning. These contracts went crazy. I think it's because they gapped up is probably why we missed them. They're pretty cheap the day before. But even some of these like 230s. No, yeah, today, dude, these were 18 cents. They closed up at $1, and it was honestly phenomenal. Even if you look at the 225s, I think these were pretty cheap too. These were 70 cents again, a little gap up there, but it was great. They went up. I was surprised. Some people think it's because the hurricanes. I don't think so, because if you really look at it, it's just value stocks. Again, there's McDonald's. I don't know. McDonald's, if you correct me if I'm wrong, it looks exactly like Home Depot. I don't know if people flock to McDonald's because of the hurricanes as well, or maybe McDonald's doesn't have any stores in Florida. But I strongly doubt the narrative of the hurricanes as much as it is just a rotation here into value with everything going on. But McDonald's did the same thing, and I'd look for it. But we did the credit spread, and I like this because I wanted a credit spread that was going to expire tomorrow. This is really risky. At the very least, you guys will get to see me how we play it. It's a max $250 risk. What we did was we sold the 227.50 and we bought the 230. I think I got like a $70 credit. Hey, you could sell this at 90, buy this at 20. It's about 70 bucks. I think I got like 71 or something, or 79. But pretty much if it closes below 227 or less than 70 bucks above 227.50, we'll make money on it. But I like that one. And the fact was, these went up a lot. I think it went up a lot already. So 227's in the money. I think it's pretty much going to fall out. 225 is reasonable, but if you look at Home Depot, it's had a tear. But I think that's going to be an interesting play, and even if it does continue to go up, I might look to hedge it with maybe a McDonald's call tomorrow morning. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that. And we talked about it yesterday too. I brought up those McDonald's. I brought up the 220s. Hopefully you guys have been paying attention here. We said the market wasn't expecting a big move on these, and if it did end up doing that, it would have went crazy. It was pricing these at 18-20 cents, the same exact thing as the Home Depots, and they shot up to $1. They came down. Oh man, they came out to 20 bucks and then went up. You could have frogged those, somebody said twice, but you just got to be careful here. I wanted this one. I would have sold a spread at this one if we did the same thing here. If we sold these when it was at $1, the 220s were at $1, then these would have been at like 11 cents. You could have got 90 cents for the same $2.50 risk. I would have been a big fan of those. So I'll watch those tomorrow to see how that plays out as well. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about it. I wonder, is Robinhood, would they still close out my spread an hour before if it expires tomorrow, even if it's in my, that's going to be interesting. Yikes, I didn't think about that because the odds will still be in my favor, but they think they might close it. We'll see. But besides that, I'm going to be eyeing those McDonald's again to hedge. I will be looking at Starbucks. I still want to set up more of a longer term swing because, again, you saw what Home Depot just did. You saw what McDonald's did. If that trend is going to continue, Starbucks is probably going to be the next one in line to go, and I like how they're positioned. I like the Amazons. Again, if you could get an option for like 20 or 30 cents, I saw a quick flash dump on them to like 12 cents for a daily. I'll take a $12 play as long as it's within like 20 bucks, 30 bucks in the money. I could go with that on Amazon, but I'm going to watch that. But again, control that YOLO demon. And then we got the DG, and then watch UPS and FedEx. Again, those are the same ones we've had in mind, but they've kind of been doing their thing, hanging out at these levels. UPS has done a lot better than FedEx, surprisingly. So even just watch the overall transports and how that index is doing, but they had a big bounce. So we'll see if there's any lagger or leaders. But again, I don't think tomorrow is going to be too big of a decisive day in telling us too much info unless we do get some news there in the morning. So watch that. The next is going to be TLT. They had crazy bounces, but now TLT is kind of looking prime for some level of the short-term plays. But every time I've ever tried a short-term play on TLT, I've always been reminded just get an extra week on it. But watch, but the fact that it's still holding up at these levels and having these big bounces, people are getting surprised. But keep your eye out for that and keep an eye out for what it's telling you. And we looked at it. Some people said, do we get puts? Before you go to the puts, I encourage you to go look at them all. People have talked puts. I said be careful. Same thing with GLD or gold. You could go look at any of these puts, like these 145s. You could even see here, even if you got that big drop today, they went from 220, you would have made like what, $30, and then they came right back to break even. But even worse, these puts were like super heavily in the money, and even then, when TLT started going down, they really didn't make too much money. They doubled. Then they doubled and would drop almost half from there off of the littlest move. Then it would stay the same. They would come up a little bit, and then pretty much they'd capitulate. So you're stair-stepping yourself down. Be careful of what you're pricing with those. But watch TLT. 4 crazy moves, but again, I'm still expecting it to level out. However, when you start seeing big candles with TLT, I would start paying attention. Next now is going to be Ulta. They got crushed after hours off of a bad earnings. They're going to be expensive. Usually they are, but, thank God for Fridays. There's going to be some cheap contracts on there. So what we have to look out for with Ulta is also watching how we played stocks like Ollie. Ollie was one of those earnings plays I said watch for, but it shot up, came down, it really cucked. It's not going to do anything. So if that happens with Ulta, there's not going to be a play there. But if there is a very big continuation, this could be a very, very good opportunity. Down $66 with options on Friday. You could get some good delta in there. So keep your eye out for that. Then same thing with AMBA, but now on the upside. So both of these remind me in the morning I'm going to be looking at both of these, and we'll see. And again, that's what happened with Dollar General. We played Dollar General today, and we've already talked about that one. But you can see here, it had its earnings, shot up, gapped up, went up a little bit, came down, but then it just continuously kept going back up. And that's what we're going to kind of look for, but on a bigger scale. In stocks like AMBA, may have the potential to go up, but I know Ulta, with that big of a stock price and that big of a move, that's going to have potential to move a lot bigger and a lot wider. So that's what we're going to want, especially on a Friday if you're chasing that volatility. Then watch Apple. They had the news today that they were announcing the new iPhone. They sent out the invites to announce it on September 10th. That brought it up. I was just considering whether it's going to be a good swing or something day trade, but keep your eye out for that and watch the other chip makers. I know NVIDIA and other ones did good, so I like those, but watch out for those. And then lastly, Boeing. They underperformed today a lot relative to the market, so they're still holding this range. They're doing their things. We'll see what happens Friday. They had a few weird velocity moves down, but nothing too crazy, but it did catch my eye, so we'll see how that plays out. Sometimes they will move on these Fridays off of news, or if anything, come into Monday. So we still have those September plays, so I'm not too worried on that. But keep your eye for theirs. And lastly, to the final plays, we got Cigna. That did the exact opposite, but I would keep my eyes out for them still. The fact that it's moving 3, 4, 5% down, then 3% up, if that persists and continues, the options are going to be really cheap tomorrow. The calls did good, but I'm still going to watch out for that and still watching for the same thing. As far as the other plays, Caterpillar outpaced the market greatly today. However, still near this range. It's been fluctuating a lot. I'm going to watch for puts if it does go down, and I'm going to watch to see that Caterpillar outpaces or leads the market again. And if it does, those could be good ones to play right there off the morning or even middle of the day, especially if there is news too. I'm going to be going for them. I'm going to watch Shopify. It broke below 400. I thought if it stayed above 400, it could have some gas to the upside, but we'll see. Again, any of these growth stocks, we want to see how they play out tomorrow, and I'm going to keep my eye out for that. And then lastly, Beyond. Depending on what it does, it had a very, very nice day today. You pull up the daily, you can see where it's at. We've been calling it out. It's kind of leveling out and doing its thing again, so I kind of want to see if it's going to cuck or not, but that's probably going to be its next stage, is stay probably bouncing back and forth in this range before the next move. So I'm going to start looking for some contracts a little further out, but if there is a move on that, again, watch any of these growth stocks, watch the value in the rotations like we saw with Home Depot and McDonald's, and just keep your eyes open for that in any news tomorrow. So that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you posted your watch list. Hopefully you've liked the video. Hopefully you're ready to go. You stayed hydrated. Hopefully you got a nice, firm, secure leash on your YOLO demon. Remember, the demon, the devil, the job is to seek, kill, and destroy. He is going to lie to you. He's going to try to tempt you. He's going to try to put fear in your heart. I know, I just got really deep on that. I know, but just be smart about it. Control your dollars per hour. If you want to make a play, that's fine. If you're going to go after these, but control it little by little by little by little. Focus on the importance of timing, and guess what? You could always just grab an extra week, and that's always going to help. So watch the day swinging video. If you guys haven't searched that or seen it yet, just go search day swinging, the trading fraternity. You don't know what a frog is? Go search frog, the trading fraternity. But get on it. Post your questions, post it in the watch list, and be there in the morning. I read over the watch list. We'll cover all that, but I love you all. I hope you're ready. Let's go.